Is it on?
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is Prince Mongo. I'm in Daytona at the Spiritual Zambodian Art Festival, and we are here in honor of Cristo. Cristo Claude, and they put all the artwork in Central Park, all the doors they made, and draped the fountains in lavish colors, and they've spent over $100 million of their own money. And their theory is art should not be on paintings, on canvas, because only the few can see it when they buy them and hoard them and put them in their homes and the museums or whatever, and a lot of people can't go to the museums. So his theory was, which I agree to, and I've studied under him a while, and I gave him a lot of insight too, he and his wife. And he believes that you should see it, and then it'll be a memory forever. So when he draped the mountains, everybody thought he was crazy draping the mountains over there in Poland or wherever. And he was draping mountains. He was doing everything, and it was spectacles, yes, but it was his money. $7 million went on the mountain in cloth. And then he turned it loose and let the wind take it to the sky, and the spirits took over. That was the end of it. But how many people know about it? Millions of people know about it because the people saw it and they live with it every day, a memory. By the way, he has a museum in Palm Beach. You ought to go see it. But my point is, I am a highly spiritual person. I'm here on a mission, and I'm in Daytona on a mission because this city is more corrupt than Hitler was during his reign in Germany. They make up laws as they go along. They have friends who make complaints, and then they react and act totally irrationally and against the law, and all the constitutional rights that we have in this country and supposed to have, they violate. Now, for example, they took away my permit on my deck after they issued a deck. Then they gave me a few days to tear it up, which I did. Then I had a vision that I should do something even greater because I started creating in my mind what you see here. Except when I created this 3 years ago, last year the county came, and they stole it all. Everything you see here, in abundance, all different stuff, they stole from me. Signed, autographed ice hockeys from 5 of the greatest teams in the world, from the Olympics, and so on. They took golf clubs that Sam Snead, that Ben Hogan, and these other people signed and gave to me. I had them on the dune over there. It was called the Sportsman's Dune. And they took those away. They took away so many valuables from me, not counting $51,000 worth of sand that I had delivered here. And they agreed to let me have the sand at a meeting with my lawyer, which we have with a court reporter. We have all of this on paper, documented. They agreed that I could do this, that I could put the sand and I could make a green zone. I was after a green zone. That's what I started with. I wanted a green zone, and I wanted the spirits to be able to be heard and be seen and to enjoy.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Daytona Beach Volusia County on June of 2011 came and removed everything from this property.
Absolutely.
When I returned from Washington, D.C. in October of last year,
yep,
I drove by because I had become familiar with the place back in 2010, and I noticed everything had been taken off the property. Do you have a problem with Volusia County telling you that somehow this is a nuisance, this is littering, this is...
Oh, they can say any words they want. They could call it a communist plot. They could call it a Muslim temple. They could do anything they want to do just to get rid of it. Now, they charged me $6,100 to steal my stuff. what is this? What kind of society are we living in? There's going to be a revolution in this country before it's over with, because we're trying to tell other countries how to be free and have a constitution and to follow freedom, and that's what we stand for every day. Our freedom is being taken away from us, and most people can't fight like I've been fighting. I'll not only fight with politics in Memphis, and they say I disgrace the electoral process or whatever. But when I expose them, as I have in all of my platforms, when I put my platform out for a mayoral race, I've been running for mayor of Memphis since '78. I almost won within 15,000 votes in the very beginning of my elections, or my running. And that scared them to death. Then they started, the only way they could do now is label me as being crazy, label me as being some wild thing that wants to disrupt the whole institution. And when in fact, with the people that I name and put on my posters, and I do caricatures of them and hang them in trees with money, full of hands of money in their hands and money all under the tree, 6 of them went to prison 2 years ago. 6 of them that I said were thieves, and yet they couldn't wait to come and close all of my businesses down after I put these on the street, because I called them thieves by name.
Let me ask you, you were talking about, it's funny that we are telling other countries that they need to be more like us. We do have a constitution. Recently in Orlando, an occupied Orlando protester was arrested for vandalism for drawing on the city sidewalk with chalk. The young man took it to court. The Orange County Circuit Court judge ruled that he did not violate any laws, that it was protected under the First Amendment's freedom of speech. Do you have a problem with freedom of speech being protected for someone writing on someone else's property, but yet your freedom of speech on your own property becomes a nuisance or a crime to those who want to shut you up?
Absolutely. I have a problem with the law not being just. The judge that we had, a lot of people made a comment, a few made a comment to me, that he was totally wrong in dismissing the case. But he is one of the only people that I know that I commend for following the law. That's all he did. He said, "County, you have not brought sufficient evidence to support the charge, so I'm dismissing it. Go back to the table and make A equal Z or Z equal B, but give me facts. Don't give me a round-the-moon discussion as to what he's doing. I want the facts."
You mentioned the fact that people try to refer to you as crazy, and I will be honest with you, I've read all of the articles since 2010, late 2009. I've read some from the Memphis Commercial Appeal, and I've come to the conclusion that you're crazy, but crazy like a fox.
Well,
you're an extremely intelligent man.
Come over here. I want to show you this statue somebody did of me and delivered it from Europe. How about that beautiful thing? Go ahead. Crazy like a fox?
You're crazy like a fox because, one, you actually research and know what the legal position is before you put any of this out here.
Absolutely. And I even got permission to do it from the ones who came and stole it from me. What kind of law are they following, or do they even know that there is a law?
Let me read you a comment that was posted on an article that Sinclair News put up yesterday about you and the continuing fight here in Volusia County. Prince Mongo is a brilliant culture jammer. I met him in Fort Lauderdale in 1990 and produced a segment that aired on Channel 7. He lived in an exclusive zone off Las Olas, behind the Little Pink Bridges, in a gorgeous home on the Intercoastal Waterway, with his yacht docked out back. He had put up handmade flyers in search of a large family with a criminal background and lots of cats who'd like to rent his house for $5 a month. It was a great piece, he boasted, except, of course, for the evil spirits next door. It is to the Mongos among us, Emerson spoke. Be true to your own act and congratulate yourself if you have done something strange and extravagant to break the monotony of a decorous age. Rock on, spirit. How does that make you feel that people who have met you 12 years ago are still saying the same thing, that you're not crazy, but in fact, you're bringing some decorum and some accountability to the process.
They're absolutely right. When I'm in court and I win a case, and I win all of them, I tell the people, or I tell the press, to print this. I fight for the people who can't afford to fight. I fight for our freedom every day, like the soldiers who go to war and who come home broken up and torn up and blown up. And I fight as they do, but I'm doing home fighting. They're doing abroad fighting. But we should all be respected as people who are trying to save the Constitution and make it authentic with everybody. Make it the same as it was written. Don't deviate from it and jerk in these charges that don't even exist. You know, these people in Volusia County already brought some other charges against me before this one.
Right.
And they decided, because my lawyer, who is Eric Latinsky, one of the greatest lawyers, he doesn't kiss anybody's tail. And he goes after him. He don't owe him anything. He don't ask him for anything. He follows the law. And he's brilliant. But he then questioned all these numbers they put behind the law that I broke. And then after he investigated it, went to the archives and dug up all the stuff, he couldn't find anything it matched. So he brought that to their attention. He said, produce the laws that these numbers stand for. You know what they did about 4 days later? They dropped those charges and then reignited the charges of being a nuisance and sent them to this judge the other day.
Recently, one of the most recent allegations lodged against you by your neighbors, or
I don't have any neighbors,
or should I say it's being attributed to your neighbors, is the concern about traffic and sightseers who drive by to look at your house, to take pictures, and the safety of small children on the block. If you don't mind, I'm going to pan around real quick and ask you at the same time, do you see a single young child anywhere on the street?
There are none. They make up these things. That's the figment of the imagination around here. They called and reported 9 bicyclists that came to see me on bicycles, all over 75. They came and they put them on my grass over there one day and came on the dune that you saw on the north side of the building, of my house. And as we sat up there and talked and laughed, and I served them some refreshments, here came the police. Where are the 9 cars, 12 cars that's parked all over the yard? I said, I don't know. I haven't seen any. I said, have you guys seen any? Are you calling these bicycles cars? Well, you see, the drunk man that lives over there in that house that started all this, he stays drunk. He doesn't have one thing to do but call City Hall every day, the county, every day. He lodges complaint after complaint after complaint. And the ridiculous county responds to it. So you could call and say, the dog is sitting in the yard 50 times, and then they would send out the SPCA and everybody else to abduct the dog that doesn't exist. Only because he said, or somebody said, a dog is shitting in my yard 50 times a week, and I want you to catch that dog. Do you know these idiots will waste their time, the county, will waste their time to send out a posse of people to catch the dog, and there is no dog. You see?
I'm wondering if maybe you have not become a victim of what we call excessive complaining neighbors. Where neighbors simply call and complain to the different county agencies to the point to where the agency has no choice or initially but to respond. However, I do believe, and I'm going to ask you, do you feel that excessive complaining has been taken far too far as the law is concerned? Do you feel that you've actually become the victim of harassment? Oh,
I have been harassed, and we're going to address that at a later session with all these people. We have requested phone records from several of these neighbors, and we're going to prove that they've been calling over hundreds of times, just 4 of them. Been calling hundreds of times. They team up, they have nothing to do, and they just sat on the phone and continually dial.
I want to take this interview in a slightly different direction for a minute. First, some of your neighbors apparently at one time alleged that the painting of your house and the word witch.
Oh, come and see it. Yes.
They're telling press organizations that they feel that the word witch is a direct reference to them.
Well,
do they have any legitimacy in that?
Absolutely not. I'm an artist, and I painted just as many artists do. So I had a vibration in my body and soul to create a painting as I was going around the house painting. So I painted this beautiful picture on the back of the wall, and the code enforcement came out 50 times to look at it and examine it, and they couldn't find one thing wrong with it. So you see, these people are paranoid, and everything that I do seems to be a threat to them because I'm free. I'm a free spirit.
Legally, officially, your name is Robert Hodges,
That's
correct?
True.
Okay.
That's my earthling name.
And you are more well known by Prince Mongo, including Mongo for mayor in Memphis.
Absolutely. I'm from the planet Zambodia, and I'm 333 years old. Woo! Yes, I am. I call on my spirits all the time. And Come on, I'm going to show you the witch.
Okay, and I'm going to...
Please don't say that the witch might be an insult to your mother or your aunt or your grandmother. You could do the very same thing these idiots are doing. But they want to create problems, and I don't care what they call about, it's a problem. See?
I'm going to ask you... Your description of you just now is what a lot of the press has tried to use to paint you as being somewhat mentally unstable.
When I call on my planet, is that unstable? Do you not think? Don't you know the government is now spending trillions of dollars going to Mars and Venus and trying to find the life on other planets? And here I am, one who came from one of the planets to Earth only to save the people who want to leave Earth when it's time, because the Earth is going to be destroyed.
Actually, I was going to ask you, why is it, do you think, that people would use that as a means of trying to paint you as being crazy, and yet you have Christian organizations and Pentecostal churches that speak in tongues and scream out, and why do you think that one is considered crazy and the other one is considered worshiping your Savior?
Because I'm Mongo and they're Pentecostals.
Good response.
Mm-hmm.
Now you only stay here in Wilbur by the Sea part of the year?
We're in Port Orange.
Okay.
I only stay here for 5 or 6 months, and then I have other chores. I have to be at other places to help heal people, bring them spiritual advice, and to meditate so that I can free their mind from depression and from the anxieties that they hold in their body and soul because of the situation of the world and their situation. So I'm called repeatedly. I go to hospitals and cure people. I do many things that these people don't know anything about. You're speaking.
I was fixing to ask you about that. You actually volunteer at a local hospice here in the area when you're here?
Oh, yeah. Well, I volunteer for a lot of places for Catholic and Protestant places that take care of senior citizens and handicapped people or sick people.
You also provide food?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
Themselves can't afford it?
Absolutely. I feed people all the time. In Fort Lauderdale, I fed people 3 days out of the week.
Now, this dune back here is slightly...
I haven't finished that dune.
I was going to say it's slightly bare considering what it looked like in 2010.
Oh, absolutely. It will go when I finish. I have to. You see where, put your camera on that, where these people had the big machines in here and busted up my foundation. So I've left that so that we can see that for the lawsuit that's going to follow.
Isn't this the area where you had built the deck that people complained about?
Yes, it is. I was right on level with the door and straight out, 25 feet out and 25 feet wide. Yeah. Now come here. This is a picture that's so beautiful that I take so much pride in, because look at what I've done. I've got the general, the witch, the foo-foo, moo-poo, and the dogs and birds. And I mean, you can read anything you want into this. If you want to read your grandma, you want to read yourself into it, you can read anything into it.
Let me ask you.
That's what art is about.
Before all of this started, this house was painted a pale green?
Beige.
Beige?
Yep. Yeah, it looked just like the rest of them as far as that goes. Simple. Simple. It was a beautiful house. I had it landscaped twice a year. Even when I wasn't here by a professional landscaper.
Do you think the painting of the house had anything to do with the complaints?
No.
Increasing?
No. It wasn't here. The paint wasn't here when the complaint started, and they made me remove this deck. They made me remove this whole deck out of here. I saved the pieces and assembled some of them over there. I put some in the back, which they said I could, and I'd be doggone if they didn't steal that when they came, besides stealing all my bicycles, my golf clubs, my hockey sticks, my skis. I had some fabulous stuff here. You saw this was a sports dune, and during the Olympics, I would ski down the sand dune for people just to give them a little excitement. I put on the skis right there, had them in the ground, and I would put them on and ski down the sand and meet them at the bottom.
Well, we do actually have pictures on the website of what the sports dune looked like before the county came in and moved everything. And that's the next question. You are, in fact, planning to file suit against the county for illegal taking of property?
Absolutely. Stealing. And look, where you are now was a huge, beautiful dune, and that dune rolled where you are behind you. It rolled over here, and rolled there. I had full-size, huge Santa Claus. I had huge snowmen. I had a Christmas decoration here. So it was in April, March, and maybe October, so, whatever. One in October was in December, January, February, March. And I built it because we have Christmas every day. That was on one of my posters. Christmas every day, Mongo Mayor. And I gave out Santa Claus buttons, and it had Mongo for Mayor, Christmas every day. We believe in Christmas every day because the spirit is very important for us to conquer our spirits. And if we conquer our spirits, we can bring freedom and we can bring happiness every day. We can make the worst of things be beautiful. And it's all in the mind. People used to always say, Mongo, you sure are high on dope. Every time I see you, you're flying. But you see, I never touched dope. I have never touched any whiskey like these people around here. I don't live in a house to get drunk. And I have been always, perceived to be drunk or high. But everybody knew me as being a super happy person. And my happiness related to other people, and it brought them happiness. So all of a sudden, the people around me were energized by my happiness, and they had equally as much happiness while they were with me as they did that I had all the time.
You just came back, in January of this year?
Mm-hmm.
When you came back, all of this had been removed. You've done a remarkable job at restocking and redesigning the artwork in your yard.
I went right to work on it.
Period of time.
I ordered the sand before I ever got here. It was ready. When I rolled in, I called them from St. Augustine and said, I'll be in town in 1 hour. I want 3 trucks delivered in 1 hour. I want 3 behind it. And then we dumped all of it, and I got a citation 2 hours later from the county.
Speaking of citations, the citation that you went to court on April 27th was a citation accusing you of excessive amounts of sand, littering, and nuisance. Is that correct?
I don't even know. I didn't read it.
Okay. However, you're living in Port Orange, Florida. You're on beachside. You're on the beach side of the Intercoastal Waterway. So my question is, why would sand all of a sudden be considered littering?
Because I've got it. You see, it depends on the person that has the sand as to what it is. Now come here and look. Shine your camera on this little this little board.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw that. It says take one free toy.
Yeah, let me move somebody through this on it. I always invite the kids to take a toy. I invite all the kids that come by here to take a toy, and when they read that, they'll get out and take them a toy as a souvenir. I have 2 more boxes of toys I bought yesterday and today that I put out here that I spent $150 on. But they'll take on the average of $100 or $200 a week in toys. And every Friday I try to restock, but because there were so many people here, they took most of the toys Friday and Saturday and Sunday. And so now I have to get an early start, and I've got these boxes up at the house that I'm going to be putting out. And I put skateboards out here. I put Geiger counters, all kinds of stuff.
Because you've got some interesting bicycles that, people need to understand. These are actually old and antique-ish, are they not?
Oh, they are. And they took my Schwinn's with the spring knee action on them. They took my old bikes, and they were all painted psychedelic. They stole those from me, stole 5 of them. And you see my fish up there, my crab in the crab pot? And that dune right there, I've got them all named, and I've got signs for every one of them. The one where the alligator is on your left, that's called Hampo D.
Let's walk over.
And this one is called Minnow. Look, I painted this painting last week. I painted that, and see the 3 birds on it? That stands for me, the 3 birds. I'm always, every poster I make and every piece of work that I do has either 3 birds on it. They look like seagulls, but they're 3s and they're in different dimensions. And 333 is a magic number, and 33 and the 3s are magic numbers in all of our life.
Are these dunes lit up at night?
Oh, absolutely they are. They're beautiful at night. And this is what they took away. They said I could do this in this meeting, and you could see the deposition. If you wanted a copy of the deposition from my lawyer, he'll give you a copy of it. And they said you can put, I even told them I was going to put, I'm going to put sea flowers, and I'm going to put seagrass on it, and I'm going to have little wooden walkways to come through it. All this is going to be sand. It isn't going to be any dirt here, no grass. I'm not going to ever use any more water. I'm going strictly to the green zone and the beauty of the beach. So they agreed I could do it. Then when I leave town, they come and take it all away. That was 2 years, though. 2 years later.
Did you get a phone call from the county or from anyone before the front loaders came onto your property?
Oh, no. I left on a Friday. They arrived at Monday morning with all the machinery to take it out.
So you're saying that the county intentionally waited for you to leave town?
Yes, they did. And I called my lawyer. He was in Colorado, and he sent an investigator over here. We got over 300 pictures, and look what they took away. This dune was completely covered with those beautiful sea flowers. That was completely covered. This one over here was covered. See the red ones up by that tree? This one was covered with red and yellow, and the red ones have little yellow edges on them around the outer edge. And I bought all those at a nursery in New Smyrna Beach. I spent over $800 in flowers. Over $800. Now that doesn't count my seagrass. They were like another $600.
Mongo, I have to ask this question.
Go ahead.
How much money between replacing sand, lawyers' fees, fighting the county, would you estimate that this has cost you to date?
Over $150,000.
Some people would say, when you answered that question that way, some people would say, my God, you're crazy.
Sure.
However, I think some other people would say, they only wished that they had the resources to stand up and fight and not cave in. Absolutely they do. They say both. The person who's a little bit stubborn and doesn't really care about anything would say he's an idiot. The people that have been bitten by the same dog that's biting me would say, Mongo, I could never fight them. You ought to stay out here. Bring your camera tonight or this afternoon, and you'll see the people roll around here. Never a negative person comes here. And hundreds of them come in here. Hundreds. And they put a sign up down here. I'm the only person that got a sign put up stopping people from coming in this street. I mean, that's totally unconstitutional. It says locals only. Why don't they have locals only for the rest of the city? I'll take a picture of it actually on the way out.
Yeah, they got one here, and one on to the left 50 feet, and one to the right 50 feet. Never. And then they put a flag on it. They had an orange flag on it. They sent a guy here on a Saturday getting double time from DeLand, Florida, and I happened to talk to him. He says, I thought the road had caved in because they sent me on an urgent mission. They're giving me double 2.5 times. I said, well, they sent you to, he said, they sent me to put flags on these things because they wanted people to be aware, and I thought it was danger. He said, but now I can't figure out where the danger is. I said, you're looking at the danger. They think I'm a danger. So they have you put orange flags so people could see those poles, and then to notice them. Then after the flags didn't work, it brought more people in because people were saying, go where the flags are on Cardinal and turn to the right and you'll go right into the front yard. So then they came and removed them. They stayed up about 2 weeks and they saw it backfired on them, so the idiots sent another crew out to take the flags off, and there was another probably $2,000 in labor and overtime for them to take the flags out. Now what kind of idiots are running this county? Have
you paid a penny of the fines levied against you?
No. We're opposing it all. We've appealed it. Mm-hmm.
And you've been fighting this now for...
over a year. Over a year. I've been fighting them really for the deck and the dunes. I've been fighting them for over 3 years.
Will you take this as far as the United States Supreme Court if it goes to that?
I absolutely will. They can make book on it. I told them and my lawyer, the bus doesn't just stop here. And I don't care. I'm going to seek justice, and I don't care what it costs. I'm never going to bow out. Now, either they are going to, they've got to repent and do what's right by me, and then I'll be finished with them. I'll continue on with what I'm doing, and I love to respect people. I don't do this to humiliate people. I do it because I am expressing my makeup. I'm expressing freedom. I'm expressing tranquility. You ought to come out here. People will stop and sit on those rocks and take pictures and sit there for hours. They'll come over and ask me, can they come up and see the spiritual, beautiful Mongo statue over here that a guy carved. He said he was in somewheres in Fiji, and he's been on my Facebook a lot, and he said that he was in Fiji and he got a tremendous vibration that there was a great spirit in a tree. And I said, oh, that was probably me. And he said, I'm going to make a carbon, and I'm going to bring it to you. I said, well, it's a long way to get it here. Well, by golly, about a month after I was here came a truck all covered up, and out came this beautiful statue. Now, you see, that's the way I go to court. I go with the chicken, that rubber chicken.
I was just fixing to ask you, you are extremely comfortable going to court dressed to the hilt.
Absolutely. I'm expressing.
How do you charge people to take pictures of
Absolutely not. I won't even accept a donation. You don't know how many people say, can we donate for your cause? I say absolutely not.
Would you have any knowledge, are you aware that the Daytona Beach News Journal actually charges for people to buy copies of pictures that they took of your art in your home before it was bulldozed last June, and since you put it back up?
Yeah, I'm aware of that, and I asked about that, and they said it's just a little supplement to help cover the cost of the photographers and so on. And I guess I'm certainly not angry about it. And I would like for the people. Matter of fact, I bought 20 of them, and I got all the pictures I can put together.
Okay.
But I bought them to help them, and I don't mind helping them because I know everything is on a budget. And then, do you know that the Volusia County, my lawyer called me a while ago and said the county is not going to give us the deposition. They're not going to give it to us. We're going to have to buy it.
Right, and that's understandable. I mean, that's just the way they're going to be. That's any court Unfortunately.
No, it's not any court all the time.
No,
it's not. And so he said, do you want it? And I said, yes, go on and buy it. Because I want every breath, I want every word documented in his files so that if we go on, we've got everything that's happened. I don't want one link missing.
Have you ever considered starting a PrinceMongo.com website and actually uploading all of these documents and citations and court decisions?
Oh yeah, I think that I'm going to ask you if you want to participate in that.
Okay, we'll discuss that after the interview. I did do some research for you. What is going to happen to this when you go back to Memphis? Because it's about time for you to start heading back north, isn't it?
I've got somebody that's going to guard this and refurbish it and going to come and watch it. If there's a hurricane coming, then he'll come and he'll secure everything. I will also be back. I'll be flying in and out because of this court case. So I will be here. I won't be absent all the time. Okay. And I'll be here to watch my stuff and to supplement it. There'll be other days that are coming. The 4th of July, I'll put up flags. I might get the flags up before I leave. I bought about 500 flags, American flags, and I'm going to put them all around. By the way, do you know that they made a complaint, said I had too many flags in the yard? So I took one of the posters down that I painted. I had it up here. It said Zambodian Art Fest. I took it down because I was leaving town. I had to go to Fort Lauderdale. A friend of mine is sick and in a nursing home, so I had to go there to cheer her up. And she's only 88. But I went and spent a few days with them, her and her family. And not her, she was in the nursing home and still is. But I took it down because I could fight that issue later. And I put signs on all the sand dunes, like I said. That one over there is called Hampo-D. This is called Minnow. This is called Meditation. And this was called Tsunami. And I'm going to get a little Jap flag in honor of the tsunami that was in Japan. Now, the ironic thing is this girl right here, Randall, came from Boca Raton to bring the toilet and decorate it. And she is 10 years old. And she came to decorate this and to give me her blessings. Wish I could catch that to get it out of your way.
The windsock is fine, actually.
Okay.
It's fine.
And she brought all of that and decorated. I'm so proud of that. I just can't tell you how proud I am of that one piece. I'm more proud of that than I am my statue.
All right, I have a curious question because standing here, our battery's starting to run out, but I want you to look down at the curve here. I don't know if you can see the sign that's...
Oh, yeah, she can. They don't bother her. She's the one that bulldozes around here and gets everybody ignited. They all meet at her house to discuss the next tactics.
Okay,
her name is
Do you know what the sign says?
Oh, they are mad at some air conditioning man because he fixed the air conditioner and charged them. So they're mad. So they put the protest up there that everybody hate the air conditioning man that sweated blood and tears to fix their air conditioner, and then they didn't like it because they had to give them money.
So she's putting a sign out
they don't bother her.
The company?
Yep, they don't. And look, another thing is that city that belongs to the city where that station wagon is and their boat. They put it out there and nobody bothers them. They wouldn't let me have my trailer in my driveway last year. I had to send it to Jacksonville to my cousin's house and leave it in his yard because they were giving me such a hard time about my trailer attached to my truck in my driveway, and they kept on me till I just said to hell with it. I'll move it down there because I got bigger issues to conquer.
Other than Port Orange and Memphis, where else do you reside or have homes or spend a considerable amount of time?
Considerable should be left out. I have a home in Brazil. I have several homes in Brazil. I'm going to buy a home, and this year, I'm going over to Amsterdam, and I'm going to buy a home there. And I've got a home in Virginia. I've got a home in North Carolina, and I love homes, and I entertain people who need help. They come to me depressed or without an answer at the dead-end street, and they will get in touch with me on my site, and ask me, can they see me. So they're in different parts, as you might have seen on my site. I am looked at all over the country and out of the country.
Before the battery dies on this camera, I would be remiss in not asking you this question. A spokesperson for the county has accused you of actively searching for a violent felon to have reside in this home, and has basically accused you of actively seeking to put your neighbors or the neighborhood in physical jeopardy. Is that just a crock, or?
No, that's the truth. But here's why I decided to do that. I brought such happiness to so many people, and I've been very interested all my life in people who are incarcerated. The government is very unfair, as they are with people who come home with no arms and no limbs from the war. Very unfair. So the people who are in prison, when they finish their term, for whatever it may be, they boot them out and say, don't come back. But they don't have any kind of skill to get a job. They can't get a job because of their record. I mean, they're in catch too. They're coming back. That's why 97% of them come back. Now, I started the first, me and 4 other business people in Memphis, started the first work release program in Memphis, Tennessee. And that was back in the 70s. Early 70s. Look that up on your record.
Okay.
And I've been interested in that all my life, but I didn't have the means to do as much as I could do. You see, I wanted to do a lot more. See, here's the county now riding around. I guess somebody's calling because you're standing out in the yard. But I have always wanted to do that. Now, I thought that this would be a perfect place for them to meditate. I've already got another place that I can stay around here, and I probably will buy. But I could then keep them undercover. I've got a psychologist that's going to work for me. The attorney is going to work for me with these people. I have everybody in place to make this happen and become great. And I've even asked, I sent them a letter. I'm going to give you a copy of the letter. I sent them a letter asking them to pitch in and help and not resent and be a part of this and embrace these people that I'll bring here. I sent everybody a letter. I sent those people a letter. I sent the mayor a letter. I sent everybody in City Hall, the commissioners. I sent over 400 letters where I had put an ad in the Orlando Sentinel, where I had applications printed, and where I had what I was going to do in the letter. And I've only asked these people to try to redeem themselves, and redemption is good. Maybe I could bring these people to their senses, and maybe they could stop.
I think it's still recording.
I want to do that.
But the county spokesperson made it appear that you were just intentionally looking for some violent felon for the express purpose of putting the community in danger. But that's not the case.
No.
What you're actually saying is that you're looking to continue something that you've already started in other municipalities, which is to assist ex-offenders in getting on their feet.
Absolutely. And I am looking for some people who have committed heinous crimes, and just recently released from prison, because they are the ones that could come right into the program, have a psychologist twice, 3 times a week, have the legal advice where people couldn't peck them to death and get them angered up again, and have the community embrace them if they would. They haven't embraced me, so I don't know if they'd embrace them, but if they would embrace them and try to give them a chance. Now, after these people have proven themselves to be recovering, then I will transfer them out and bring a new group in. So I'm hoping that I can save a lot of people. And I don't ask anybody for a penny. All I do is try to do the best I can. And if I could do it financially, I would open 100 homes.
I was going to say, you would think that the state and the county would be more than eager to allow someone to actually spend money that the state and the county refuses to spend.
They won't even help. The state and the county won't even help the homeless. So you think they're going to help criminals?
One more question before the battery dies, and I hate to keep telling you that, but I'm looking at the battery signal on this thing. Some people have said that maybe the reason your neighbors are upset is because they feel that that public display here in the yard somehow reduces their property values or their ability to sell their home. Do you see any of the homes around here on Venetian Way that even have for sale signs on them?
Oh, no. And it hadn't reduced anything. Why don't you look nationwide and ask the government why they have reduced all the prices of the homes? These robbers at Fannie Mae and Mac and all these people that have destroyed the real estate market by corruption. Why don't we ask those people about corruption and the displacement of people and the devaluing of property? That's where the root is. Not with me. I wouldn't deflate their property values any. It's already deflated.
Prince Mongo?
Wait a minute, one more thing. The house right behind me to the left sold for $129,000. I paid $330,000 for mine 4 years ago. Now you see, did I deflate my own, or did the market just blow apart here as it has all over the world?
Then,
these people are just cynical people. They want to blame anybody but themselves and the government and the situation of the world.
Well, I want to thank you for giving us the time and look forward to having you on our radio program this evening.
I hope I'll be a pleasure to be there with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah, we got crazy people here, but is it on?
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is Prince Mongo. I'm in Daytona at the Spiritual Zambodian Art Festival.